These headlines that have popped up in the media lately about EV fire risks are incorrect. They are telling you only one side of the story. What I intend to do is to tell you the entire story. From mainstream media to YouTube channels to subreddits and many other social media outlets, people are using the recent fire incident at Luton Airport in the UK and the two fire incidents in Australia to advance an anti-EV propaganda. Just a heads up, one of the fires in Australia actually started from a battery that was detached from the vehicle. Of course, a detached battery will be more riskier than a battery that is attached to the vehicle and working according to the design. Anyway, these people are saying, we told you so. Don't buy electric vehicles. They are very risky when it comes to catching fire. But the question is this true? I'll actually share with you some data that tears into pieces this argument and throws it into the dustbin where it belongs. Not my feelings, not your feelings, just pure data and statistics. Hello and welcome. My name is Steven and this is the Electric Options. I am an EV optimist, and if you like content that promote EV adoption, then give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel now before you forget. Thank you very much. Helps me a lot. You know what? I'm actually thinking, even if you literally hate content that promote electric vehicle adoption, I think you should subscribe, and I'm going to tell you why. There's a lot of content coming, and maybe along the way, I can convince you to come to the light. Don't laugh. There's another possibility. You could convince me to come to your side. We don't know. Either way, it's good to have an open mind. People who claim and even try to convince others that EV battery fires are a serious concern are living in the past. There was a time when it was believed that EVs were more likely to catch fire than their gasoline-powered counterparts. But today, that argument is old and outdated. And to make my point clear, I want you to understand that there are three main factors that cause battery electric vehicle fires. And I'll try to explain them briefly here. Please stay with me. Number one is to do with overcharging the vehicle, which leads to thermal runaway, which is just a scientific way of saying that when you overcharge the battery, it overheats to the point of ignition and then combustion. This problem is almost eliminated in today's battery electric vehicles due to improvement in the battery management system and also improved chemistries like the LFP or the lithium iron phosphate batteries. The second major cause for EV battery fires is physical damage through such things like collision or puncture and so on and so forth. Manufacturers have realized this problem, and batteries in modern electric vehicles are super protected, mitigating against any physical damage. In other words, you have to work really hard to cause enough physical damage to the battery to the point of ignition and combustion. In fact, there has been so many Teslas that have been involved in collisions without the vehicles going up into flames. The third and last major cause for EV battery fires is to do with manufacturing defects. Again, there's been a great deal of research and development and quality control on the manufacturing side for EV batteries. If you buy a decent car with, say, CATL or BYD battery, these are two major battery manufacturers in the world, you are almost guaranteed of a defect-free battery. The point here is, with all these improvements, the issue of spontaneous EV battery fires is to a large extent lying in the history cemetery. It is no longer as huge a risk as the anti-EV folks would like you to believe. And you know what? The data is actually agreeing with me. According to an Australian-based firm, EVSafe, which diligently tracks EV battery fires globally, approximately 0.0012% of electric passenger vehicles experienced a fire incident from 2010 to 2023. During the same period, global statistics for petrol and diesel-powered vehicles were significantly higher at 0.1% fire risk. I know I was talking about percentages and figures, and so these might come across as more complicated to some of you. So let me speak in a way that is more digestible. The data is saying the fire risk in diesel and petrol-powered vehicles was found to be 80 times more. Get it? 80 times more than what was observed in electric vehicles. Now, that's scary. I know some of you will quickly jump to your favorite argument. EV fires burn hotter and are more difficult to put out, therefore they are more riskier to properties. I want to ask you a question. Between a plane crash and a car crash, which one carries more risk to your life? The average person will actually think it is a plane crash. In reality, you are more likely to die in a car crash than you are in a plane crash. Now comes the question, why is it that most of us are more scared of a plane crash than we are of a car crash? When we just hear that a passenger plane has crashed, it becomes huge global news, but that is not the case with most car crashes. Of course, here I mean a serious plane crash where it slams into the water or to the ground or into some building. The reason is we know that once that happens, your chances of survival are almost non-existent. Why then don't we see videos of people discouraging you from taking your flight and encouraging you to take your car to journey from the East Coast to the West Coast? It is because there are some nuances to these statistics. Passenger plane crashes are a very rare event in the aviation industry. In the last decade, a grand total of 2 people have been killed in an accident that involves commercial passenger airlines in the US. Over the same period, more than 365,000 Americans have lost their lives due to car crashes. My point here is, if you assess EV fire risk as logically as we have assessed airline passenger safety using solid data, you will come to the same conclusions that I have done. EV fires are a very rare event that tend to attract unusually high attention and scare people unnecessarily. This is why I find it strange that we have people discouraging you from buying an EV due to the fire risk, which in reality is 80 times less than their ICE counterparts, which they themselves passionately promote. No wonder most of us think that there could be big oil and its cronies behind such messaging. And we have no illusion that they are going to stop this anytime soon. This is why we also continue to debunk EV myths like I did in this video that I'd like you to check out next.